Hey everyone, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to apologize if I sound a little confusing because I'm shooting from the hip here, and also the reason you don't see my face is because of what I'm gonna talk about, and I don't want anybody to think. I don't want anybody to, kind of. Well, you probably have seen my face, but I don't. When it comes to this, I really don't want people to see what I'm about. See. Well, you get the idea. It's just more like, I want you to hear what I have to say and not have to see the face of who's saying it, kind of deal. But, the previous video I did on this yesterday or the other day, this morning I sent it out private message-wise to several people that I'm hoping will watch and understand what's coming from, or understand where I'm coming from with it. Well, one of them did watch it, and they said that the video was kind of all over the place. It was basically kind of all over the place, and they couldn't understand the point that I was getting to. Yeah, I admit maybe it did sound a little confusing, so I apologize for that. But what I'm going to try to do is convey it more simply here so you guys can have a better understanding. And maybe I should give some of the people I was trying to mention yesterday in that original video, maybe I should give them maybe some kind of nicknames or whatever. Basically kind of give you, not the full names, artistic names or anything, but just like little nicknames. You see, what I was trying to talk about yesterday is there's a lot of fans and viewers and readers of other fans, fan works, fan art, and fan fiction stories. And one of the most popular ones, from what I've seen in recent years, deals with the female gender. And again, now I want to let you know, I'm not saying this to be offensive, but I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not trying to say this to be offensive or anything. But basically, what I've seen over the past few years, these fan art and fan fiction stories center around the female gender gaining the powers of a slime girl, of what's known as a slime girl / liquid girl / shape-shifting girl, basically all of the above. And whether it's for one shot, and whether they obtain these powers for a one-shot deal or it's a permanent deal, it's all up to the artist or the writers of the artwork that they display or the stories that they share and display with everybody else. Now, one of the artists that I was trying to talk about yesterday, we're going to call this artist KBA. Now, KBA has this character that I mentioned yesterday, which is basically like the Jessica Rabbit of their original characters, or of the original characters. And she's basically the Jessica Rabbit, I guess you could say, of the Slime Girl characters. And her name is Cat. If you want a good idea, check out my DCWA stuff and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, KBA, or KB, if you will, KBA, gives this character a bit of an origin of how she came to be. Now, what they do with KBA is, it all depends on whether it's something that they want to, draw and share with the public, or if it's something that someone will request or commission them for down the line. Now, one person that commissions them, probably more than anybody that I can think of, is an individual called Kai, or KH, if you will, Kai. Now, what Kai has their own has their own original characters of slime girls. One a pink one and one a blue one. Well, and basically these two are, and basically the pink and slime are sisters, if you will. The pink and blue slime girls are sisters. But anyway, they always, probably more often than anybody I can think of, commission KBA to do a series of web comics featuring their characters, or one of their characters, if not both, interacting with his cat character and having some unique, and basically getting into mischief, having some, fun together, if you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to say anything else besides that. Okay? But basically, Kai commissions and requests KBA to basically create these web comics, these series of web comics at times, of, like I said, one, if not both his characters interacting with his character in some very mischiefy, fun ways. Now, one of the things that, one of the things that fans of both KBA and Kai are always hoping for at times when they look at these web comics is for both KBA's and one, if not both, Kai's characters to come together as one. Basically fuse and merge together into one. They always hope to see that. And the reason is because, the reason for it, and the reason and answer for it, if you will, is as old as the media itself, as old as media and stories themselves, and comics themselves. Basically, the reason and the answer is real simple. They want to see exactly what the character will look like after the merging, what they will look like after they've merged into one, fused into one. They want to know if all three are in control, or all three, or if not both, or all three are in control, or they've all combined into one mind and into one entity. Stuff like that. They want to know if they combined into one entity, mind and everything, that the entity doesn't know or doesn't recognize the three, or doesn't even know who those three are unless they separate, or something like that. And that's something that a lot of fans always like to see. They want to see that because it intrigues them, because it's intrigued people since the beginning of time. You see it in regular comic books at times. Throughout history, you've seen it in regular comic books, you've seen it in animation, live action. It's something that intrigues them because they want to know exactly who's more in control. Are both sharing, or all three, if not both, characters, or three characters in this case, sharing control, or both of one mind? And maybe that one mind doesn't recognize the other three as separate entities and only recognizes themselves as an entity. You kind of get the idea. Hopefully you get the idea of what I'm saying. And that's why a lot of fans want to see more. A lot of fans want to see, someone like KBA or Kai go in that direction, go to that level and say, hey, let's take it to that, let's go there, let's go in that direction, let's go to that level. Let's fuse and merge our characters into one. Now, sometimes they also want to see maybe their characters shape-shift into different objects that the other character could use, or maybe they shape-shift together into an object. They want to see that kind of stuff because, again, like I said, it intrigues them because it's been done throughout, the history of the media, basically because it's been done throughout the history of every kind of media, television, comics, movies that you can think of. They want to see it happen. Now, there is one person that is a fan of both of what these people do, kind of is in that same category. Now, this individual we're going to call IL. Now, IL has an original Slime Girl character of their own, or Liquid Girl character, whatever you want to call it. And recently, over the past year, they did a series of mini web comics, if you will, that involved their character, their Slime Girl character, fusing into one with other artists' original Slime Girl characters, including one of Kai's characters. and as well as including KBA's cat character. And why? Because IL, from what I can see, understands that fans want to see what the character will look like. They will look like combined as one. They want to see that. And from what I've seen, the results are stunning. Because basically you have almost the appearance of one, but of a different color, and you kind of see the... Okay, it's like when they have the silver character fuse and merge with KBA's cat character. The outlook is the cat design, but on the inside you see Cat's color of red, but on the outside you see the silver. You see Cat's character, you see the cat character's lipstick color, purple lipstick out there, but you see the eye coloring of IL's character. Basically that's what they want to see, and they also, again, like I mentioned earlier, they want to see, because it intrigues them, they want to see who's in control. Are they both sharing control, or are they combined into one mind in one entity? That's what they like to see. They want to see that because it intrigues them. It's interesting. You know, there's another character. There's another fan artist out there called Double D. We'll just call them Double D, and they have a series known as the Morphine Mansion series on the side. And they have a character that, and they have several characters that they, at times, when either people will request it or commission it, they will fuse together as one. In fact, they have an original character. Double D has an original character called Fanzin, who they introduced in about a 4 or 5 page webcomic they did last year. And this character has become obsessed with fusing with just about anybody, any other girl she comes in contact with. Whether it's her BFF, who doesn't mind fusing with her at all, or any other character, she likes it. She likes it because she wants to experience it. Because basically, from what you could tell, because basically when you look at how Double D kind of, showcases her, the Fanzin character of his likes to basically know what it's like to be a new entity. It's like, okay, what would it be like if we merged together? How would we look? Things like that. And they do that not just with the Fanzin character and Double D does that not just because of the Fanzin character, but they do it with other characters. And they do it because of the fact that they know fans want to see something like that, because they know fans get intrigued by that kind of stuff. They do. And it's the truth. And like I said, it's something that is old as the media of entertainment itself. It's it's just something fans like to see. In fact, they even like I said, even if you request it or commission it, they'll even take established characters. That's right, established characters, and fuse them together. They will. They will fuse them together. They did one little comic strip where you had three. Three Natru anime girls, one being Sakuri, the pink-haired girl, and the other two. And basically what happens, according to the description, is one of the girls discovers a new spell that kind of would help them or anybody else become a more powerful ninja, if you will. But what you see in that comic strip is, the spell does that, but the spell basically fuses any girl or any person next to the individual into one new entity, into one new character. That's something that I'm pretty sure in that anime, in the Natru anime or manga, never happens. Never really happens. But again, that's what someone like Double D does. They do that even if it's something they do that because they too, like the fans that request it, like the people that request it or commission it, they too are intrigued of what it would look like because it's something they know would never happen in animation or happen elsewhere unless the original creators or whatever change their minds. And again, I apologize if I sound a little confusing, but the point is, the reason fans are always hoping for more after the initial work is done is because they're hoping for that. They're hoping for either to see the characters fuse and merge together, or maybe see the characters shapeshift into different items together as, for the other character to use, or or combine shapeshift together into an item, or whatever you want to call it, or inanimate object. Things like that. What else? And then there's a character that we're going to call, then there's a fan artist that goes in this area once in a while. And we're going to call this artist AO. And they have two human characters who, not once, not twice, but 3 times, they've involved in this kind of situation. They've taken their 2 human characters, had them transform in these webcomics of theirs into slime girls, and basically all 3 results, whether it's a 2-page deal or a several-page, maybe 5 to 7-page deal, the end result is not only do they get turned into slime girls, but AO basically merges those characters together into one new character. And again, even though it might be something they plan on doing, or they planned on doing from the beginning, they did it because they know fans would be intrigued by that. They even have 2 new human characters, 2 new human original characters, that recently, in a more recent webcomic, or 2 recent webcomics, turned into anamorphic slime girls. Anamorphic, kind of like Pokemon anamorphic slime girls, or just anamorphic slime girls, whatever you want to call them. And in the last comic, myself and some other people commented and asked, will we see a merger? Now AO basically said no, you're not going to see one, but I think AO knows fans are going to anticipate it. AO knows fans are going to want to see it happen. So they're probably going to do it. But we just don't know when, and we just don't know where. But they're going to probably do it. The thing is, it's their call. It's their call if they decide to do it. But I think they know in the back of their minds, AO does. I think they know in the back of their minds, fans want to see it happen. They do. They want to see it occur. And, it's not just limited either to fan works, to fan art. It's not limited to it either. Before I get into the fan fiction part, there is one more artist called KM. I know a lot of K's, right? But KM that does it on occasions as well. As a matter of fact, KM had, along with Kai, actually had a comic a couple years ago where they fused 2 characters together through unexpected means. And then, in I guess what was one of the long-running web comics, if you will, one of the long-running web comics that they did a couple years ago, they had one of their, KM had one of their characters, and Kai had one of their characters, come together as one entity, as one superheroine. Basically, I think KM's was a elastic girl, and I think KM's was a rubber girl, a girl with rubber powers, and Kai's was a elastic girl. And basically, what they did towards the end of this comic is they had them combined into one entity with one name called Rubber Elastic. So again, it's not just because the story, in a sense, would require it. It's also something that's intriguing because look at this: the character, after they combine into one, the now combined entity announces themselves as Rubber Elastic and acts as its own individual. The point is, folks, like I said, the point I'm trying to get across, and hopefully I'm not being confusing here, is people, despite whether you finished it or not, or continuing it or not, are always going to hope that the fan artist involved in this situation will go in the direction of merging the characters into one, fusing them into one, just for the heck of it, or for the fun of it. even if it's a one-shot deal. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a thing that they like to do. But again, it's not just limited to fan artwork, it's also in fan fiction. And sometimes even in fan fiction you get a one-shot deal or a permanent situation. You do. There's one person called Chaotic that has done several stories where you would think it's just one shot, but it becomes a permanent situation. Where they take established characters, mostly of the female gender, again, not trying to be offensive, but of the female gender, and gives them rubber elastic powers. They do. And people have always gotten a kick out of that. Why? Because, well, not rubber powers, but yeah, rubber shape-shifting powers. And they've gotten a kick out of that because what Chaotic does with those stories is he has these established characters try out all sorts of things. He'll even have the character with the powers even disguise themselves as clothing for somebody else. Yeah, or armor or clothing or whatever. So it's, you know, and you know what? When you read the stories like I have, it's fun. It's fun it's fun, and you get a laugh out of it because you picture in your mind, man, what would it look like if that happened? And you know what? You don't always have to picture it in your mind because they have a friend that actually does artistic work to support it. Yeah, Chaotic has a friend that does artistic work to support his stories, or their stories, if you will. But again, not just that, you also have the slime girl situation too. And there are times in stories that I've read where people, you know, even though the story ends, people want to see more. There was a story that another character, another artist, more of a fan writer artist, more fan fiction artist, fan writer if you will, she basically did a story recently called All Work. And her character is a slime girl, an anamorphic slime bunny. Let's put it that way. And basically, this story had her interact with one of Kai's characters, the pink slime girl. And basically, they interacted and had, both characters interacted and basically had some mischiefy fun, if you know what I mean. And some of this involved them turning into different things, like columns, spears, hands, stuff, just doing a lot of shape-shifting fun. And even mixing into each other, and even mixing a bit of themselves into each other by doing that. And then the way they end, and then the way, how am I going to call this? What nickname am I going to? E. We'll just call them E. The way she ends the story is she ends it by having the door left open for future stories. Because one of the things I suggested to E after I read the story is, hey, maybe you should do a sequel where you fuse them together. And E was actually intrigued by that. Because they too like that concept. They too like that concept. And that, again, goes back to what I'm saying. The reason people always hope and wait and want more, if you will, than what they get, or than what has been completed, if you will, than what's been completed or continued, the reason they hope for that hope for the artist or the writer, the fan artist or fan writer to go in that direction, whether the story's completed or not, is because it intrigues them. It intrigues them, and that's why they want more. That's why they always ask those questions of, oh, are we going to see a merger? Or are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? That's why they want it, because it's intriguing to them. It intrigues them. And those people that do that artistic artwork, like KBA, Kai, KM, IL, AO, Double D, they know that. And whether they decide to do it or not, they know fans want to see it, and eventually down the line they're going to probably end up doing it in some ways. People like Chaotic, E, if you will, they know it too. They know it too. They know people want to see that. R21, they know it. They know people want to see it. It's just up to them whether or not, and R21 is another artist and fan writer as well. And they know fans want to see it. It's just that the only question is, the only question is, will they decide to go in that direction? So basically in closing, I hope this video was less confusing than before. I will again PM this private message just to those that I private messaged the other video to. And again, hopefully it wasn't as confusing. And I thank you guys all for watching. Take your time in watching. This one's longer than the other one. But just thought I'd give you my thoughts again, more of an updated, hopefully more clearer, non-confusing reason as to why fans always ask or want more to happen out of the artworks or stories that they see from other fans of certain things like this Gen War that I was talking about. So hopefully that helped out, and let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to you all later.